Hey, welcome everybody once again to the Appalachian Brewing Company podcast. I'm your host, Mike Parker, and joining us today, we have some, I guess this is kind of like the third wheel edition, me being the third wheel, because as I look into my computer right now, there's a couple of people sitting across from me. Of course, we have the original brewmaster, the OB, not the OG, the OB, we have determined, Artie Tafoya. And like I said, he brought a date. It is the lovely Carrie Tafoya. How are you both?
We're doing great.
All right, cool.
Nice to see you.
It's good to see you guys too. And again, we just it's just right now, I think people are doing the best they can, and it's awesome to talk to you, virtually here through the computer. But can't wait till we get together again in person. But this is going to be a fun episode because I think that everybody knows Artie and Carrie, from ABC. So I think we'll spend a little bit of time getting to know you guys, and we'll definitely get to that portion to sort of hear your story, how you guys met, how you started a family. I think there's a lot going on in the world right now, and a lot going on as far as, business and reopening. So why don't we kick things off and talk a little bit about that. How are you guys holding up? How are things?
Hey, not bad, Mike, but we've been together. Carrie and I have spent a lot of time together over the last few months. And,
a lot of time.
And, the fact that we still like each other somewhat is a testament to our marriage, I think. The fact that she puts up with me is probably a better testament to why we're still together. But things are going well. We've got all the locations open again for at least indoor and outdoor dining, and we just are continuing to do all the things we can do to keep our customers and our employees safe as possible, and just every day trying to do the best we can to just continue on here.
It's been a challenge, obviously, since the middle of March, and everybody's missing their favorite spots. And I told you, I think on our inaugural, well, it wasn't our inaugural podcast. It was the inaugural version of during the COVID era, when it was me, you, and Jack was joining us from Florida. He somehow escaped to warmer weather, which there is no escape from warmer weather now. It's been 90 degrees for the last 2 weeks. Here in Pennsylvania, but I told you as soon as you guys opened up, I was going to be the first one through those big wooden doors in Harrisburg, and I kept my promise. I don't know if I wasn't the first person, but we were there on day one. Me, Tara, and the kids. We went in, got a meal. Had a really great server, by the way.
Yeah, I heard she was good.
Yeah, that just happened to be our daughter Natalie working that night. She sent me a note saying, I've got Mike here, and I don't know if he knows who I am.
Yeah. I know who she is, but it's almost to the point where I always have to so how are your parents? You know what I mean? It's like I almost know her now to the point where, you don't have to go through those little the small talk, So she did a great job. And, it was, needless to say, it's going to be a little different there because, people have started to adjust to things. People are working from home. People are getting takeout all the time, and there are opportunities to go out. And I see some people, posting on Facebook and stuff. They're out there eating and stuff. But a lot of outdoor spaces, and to actually go back and get into old habits. So people aren't exactly 100% ready. But I do think people are embracing it somewhat. We definitely wanted to do our part, and you guys tell me what are you seeing out there?
Well, it has been slower than normal. I think people are taking some time to get back. They're, everybody has a different feel for what's going on, and and depending on what media outlet you listen to or what other information you're receiving, it's either telling you can be you can be safe and go out, or hey, don't go out because it's getting worse all of a sudden. So, it just sort of depends on what you hear and how you feel about yourself. You can't make people go out, but what we can do is provide an atmosphere at every one of our locations where they can feel comfortable in coming in and seeing that we are taking care of everything that we committed to and every mandate that's out there.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed. I mean, you go in and just like everywhere else from the, the bank to the gym, or heck, I mean, like even fast food, the McDonald's drive-through and stuff like that. There's there's plexiglass. You guys have added that, like in the entry area. There was, sort of the instruction about wearing a mask until you get to your table. Of course, it was there was little indicators I noticed, on the table that said this table has been sanitized, and then I assume that there's some sort of training that you've had for your servers and stuff, where they sort of flip that one over until it's like, so that they know which tables have been totally cleaned and re-cleaned and everything else. I was impressed, and we were right at home. We felt very at ease, and it was our first time, going out anywhere. So hey, thanks for the great experience, and I do want to get into what I ate that night a little bit more, because it was kind of unique. It was the first time, and I'll get to a cool new menu item that I found. But what about the other, how are things now? Because you have some outdoor. I think people are maybe a little bit more comfortable with like the outdoor seating. So you do have some opportunities to go eat at an ABC with some outdoor seating, right?
You bet. Every location has outdoor seating. As it heats up outside, people want to be undercover, of course. So we've tried to provide some undercover outdoor seating, whether it be a tent or sunshades or something like that, in order to keep people out of this direct sun. But also it's just open air. People like the open air, and I think it's been great. But on the super hot dates, they also are coming inside now. So we always found that previous years in the summertime, everybody sort of came back inside. So it's that's something that we noticed in the past, and I think we're getting there here in the next week or two.
How about you, Carrie? Have you embraced, going back to some, because we talk about Appalachian Brewing Company, but I mean, you guys live in a cool community over there, and Camp Hill and stuff, where there's a lot of neat cafes and stuff, and places around the city to hang out. Have you sort of gone back as a local business owner to support other local business owners, and how do you feel about it?
Yeah, actually in Camp Hill we're lucky because we have a lot of small businesses, especially up on Market Street. So both of us have been up to go to a coffee shop up there and get some lunch and even some breakfast at some places. So there is a lot of activities that you can do outside in this area, which is nice. And going out to some of the restaurants, and ABC is one of those. The inside and the outside choices are really nice to have, because it depends on your mood and what the day's like. So it's a great place to meet up with friends and feel safe and secure.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, the deck's a great place up until about, again, depending on how much cloud cover there is and filtered sunlight, as they always like to say. Yeah. That's the weatherman's way of, trying to say that there's some cloud coverage during the summer when it's 90, but it can get brutally hot, and anytime you're under an umbrella at minimum. But it's nice to be in air conditioning, because oftentimes you're actually outside already, and then you're like, hey, let's go grab a bite to eat. I'd rather go somewhere that was air conditioned than continue to sit outside and sweat while I ate. So.
Well, it does help if you have an ice cold beer in your hand. It does help.
Well, I don't know what took me so long, but I actually do. I actually do have an ice cold beer. I'm representing the Water Gap wheat here today. So I will say cheers to both of you. And
cheers. I'll cool you down.
Cheers. Mm-hmm. Clink. There you go. That's good. Virtual beers on that end. It's
Virtual
fine.
beers. Yes.
And I did see that there are some of my favorites coming out. I just got the July Brews letter. Saw that the guys are busy working on some cool stuff. You want to talk about the seasonals that are coming out that we can expect to see soon, and then maybe some other stuff? I think there might have been a sour in that mix, Artie, that's on its way.
Yeah, you bet, Mike. The sour that was made in our sour brewery down in Gettysburg is a orange creamsicle sour. It's pretty cool. It's got orange puree, and then some vanilla in there, and some lactose to give it some roundness in the body. So it's really nice. I was able to get over and try it yesterday and just get a preview taste of it. And then they're releasing it this Friday on the 10th. Hopefully this podcast is done and people can hear about it to go check it out. But if not, you can certainly come after. It'll be around for a couple weeks.
Nice. And I also saw one of my personal favorites, the Hinterland Hefeweizen's on its way.
That's a good one. Always a good one.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's good. How can I get that, Artie, if I want to stop in? And is it growler, crowlers? What are you guys doing these days?
You bet. Growlers and crowlers for the hinterland. It's a draft-only product, but surely come in and get a crowler or growler in the location closest to you.
All right, cool. All right, well, it's a good start to the podcast. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I have a couple things I want to cover yet. First of all, I want to go over, again, my recent experience and talk about a cool new menu item that I tried out that had me all shook up. It's just a hint there. And then I also want to talk, I guess when we come back immediately, I don't know, I want to get to know Carrie a little bit. We know Artie pretty well. There's always a very strong woman behind a strong man. And we're going to get to know the better half, Carrie, when we come back on the Appalachian Brewing Company podcast. Okay, and we're back with the Appalachian Brewing Company podcast. I'm your host, Mike Parker. Joining us today, it's a third wheel edition, as I'm saying, me being the third wheel, and the car that's driving the ship here today is the Tafoyas. Artie, we know, and Artie, why don't you go ahead for those just tuning in here. Introduce us to the lovely woman to your left.
Well, I got to tell you, Mike, I don't know how I made it through business this long in the industry I'm in, but there's one person that has always been right behind me. She's always had my back, and anytime I say, "Hey, this is what we're going to do," she's always fully supported me. She doesn't like when I leave clothes on the floor and all issues like that, but I've been trying to change her, and she's getting used to it after 26 years of marriage. 26
years. All right, Carrie. So I want your side of the story, because so basically when we picked up this podcast months, going on a year ago, we heard about Artie, and he always gives credit to his family, of course, his wife, being you. However, I just want to know, so I think where we kind of started the story there is like Artie's working at he has a brewery, he has a business, out in, what is it, Steamboat Springs or something?
Steamboat, yep. Oh. Steamboat Springs, Colorado.
All right, so you're out there in Steamboat Springs, or where are you originally from, and how do you end up getting hooked up with this guy?
Well, I grew up in Rhode Island, and I thought after going to 4 years of college in Massachusetts, I decided that it was time to get out of New England, and decided to hop in the car with a friend and drove all the way to Colorado, where we spent a winter there skiing, and then decided that was such a fun winter, maybe we'd do it again for another winter. And just so happens that New Year's Eve was the night Artie and I were to decide that we liked each other's company, I guess. That was many, many years ago.
So you just met him on New Year's Eve, or you knew him a little bit before? Or?
Yeah, no, I knew him a little bit before. He was building a brewery right at the base of the mountain there in Steamboat. One of the really cool ski runs that came down was called the Heavenly Days. And my friend worked for him and his business partner, and I eventually thought that maybe I'd go hostess there for a little while, and that's where I met Artie Tafoya.
Yeah, Mike, I told her, you can either work here or date me, and if you date me, I have to fire you. So I had to fire her.
Yeah, I got fired that night, but it was over a root beer float, so it was okay.
So did you think he was kind of this is a while ago, let's be honest, so these days, if you hear somebody, building a brewery or opening up a brew pub somewhere, but back then, opening a brewery, is this a crazy idea, or was this in Colorado, or is it really that far ahead of Pennsylvania back then?
Well, it was way ahead of Pennsylvania at the time, and it was a really cool idea, but it also happened to have a great nightclub area where they had some awesome bands. So if you were going to go see a good band in that area, Heavenly Days was the place to go. So, knowing Artie, I managed to get myself in the door a few times, and we saw some fabulous live music out there, and that's definitely a great thing.
cool.
Yeah, the bouncers would let her cut the line, Mike. I wouldn't have allowed that if I knew about it.
I just snuck right in.
Well, I mean, you fire her, you won't let her through the line. It seems like sort of a one-sided relationship at this point, but no.
Yeah, I don't know. We're not painting a good picture so far.
No, needless to say, that it all starts off that way, believe me. I'm not even going to get into the first night I met my wife. It's embarrassing for me.
Good times. Actually, the other funny story that we like to tell is the first time we ever showed up to a ski date, because that's what you do in a skier in Colorado. We had the same skis on and the same poles. So we couldn't decide, is that a sign or is it weird? So we went with it being a sign, I guess.
It was a sign.
All right.
Sign that I needed to upgrade my equipment.
Nice. Well, you both love beer. I think that's probably something else that might have brought you together. You guys have gone to the fridge at this point, and Carrie brought something back. What are you guys sipping on tonight?
Well, I grabbed a mountain. I have to show you. I grabbed a mountain lager because it's a warm night, and that's always a great beer to drink when it's hot out for me.
And I've got the classic, Mike. I got the Hoppy Trails IPA.
Both winners.
Tastes lovely. It's nice, refreshing. The brewers are just kicking out some incredible stuff right now. It's amazing.
Cool. So then, here you are. You guys are in Colorado. It seems like you're having a good time. You had you decided then to move out there and be together and does a family follow pretty soon or?
Yeah, well, we got married out there in '94, and it was kind of one of those weddings where, you invite a bunch of people and you think maybe half of them show up and everybody went, yes, vacation in Colorado for the week. So we definitely had one of those fun weddings that a lot of people came to, including a pig roast. That was our main meal at that time. But after that, we lived there for about a year and a half, and then we moved to Kansas City, where Artie had some work at the time, for about a year, and that's where our oldest daughter was born. So Elizabeth was born in Kansas City, Kansas, and then when she was 6 weeks old, we packed up the house and moved to Camp Hill. And daughter number 2 was born just about 2 years later. So that's how we got to this area. And we settled into Camp Hill nicely. It's a nice community to be able to raise a family. Artie in Harrisburg could, hop back and forth to work pretty easy from this area. So that's how we got to Camp Hill.
Artie, what was it? Was it the twinkle in her eye? Was it the sense of humor? Was it the skis?
No, I think I finally met somebody who could put up with me.
He did say he saw me sitting at the bar drinking a Guinness, and that was a factor as well.
Interesting.
Well, that was definitely a good point in your direction.
That's cool. That's great.
She's always been a beer girl. That's why I love her.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, that's a great sign. And you know what? It's the same thing. When Tara and I met, we quickly figured out that, it wasn't like one of us was a wine person and one of us was like a cocktail type. We don't purely. We're both beer people, and when we dated, that was date night. It was checking out a brewery, and wherever we traveled, it was a little harder back then because you didn't have Alexa or whatever else just to ask. You actually had to do some research, but like if we'd go visit, a family member down in Virginia or, anywhere, we'd look for, try to find, we'd ask people, is there a brewery around? And you'd find these cool places that, I always compliment you the fact that you guys have been in operation for over 20 years, because I'll tell you, 20 some years ago, there were some pretty cool breweries that just didn't make it, and the ones that we were around when we dated, I could name, on one hand how many of them in some of those places are still around. So, it's a testament.
Well, one of those things I'd say that brought us together, or things that we'd like to do, is there were beer festivals. There's always been beer festivals in our life. I feel like from when we first started dating up until now. We used to be the young people going in with the beer and having fun with everybody. Now we're kind of the old farts with there, but we're still there having fun. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm starting to get to know that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like the flower girls at my wedding are now going to beer fests, you know, and they were like my little cousins, and it's just it's incredible how time flies. But you know, sometimes things stay the same, and the love of beer does definitely bring people together. So
it's very interesting, Mike, that our daughter Natalie turned 21 this year. So now she was a COVID 21 year old. So we actually she goes to Penn State. We set up the basement like one of the bars in Penn State and up at State College, and then I was the bouncer, and Mom was the bartender, and she came in. I carded her and checked her ID, and we ran the whole gamut. And then she had all of her friends on Zoom with her at the bar. So that was the best we could do, but we really had a good time. We laughed forever, and the bartender and the ID card bouncer were doing shots with her at the end of the night.
It was a good time. We had to do the best we could.
Probably at the beginning of the night they were doing shots with her, if I'm hearing the story.
Yeah, so I've always said this to my friends, and now I say this to our daughters. You know, sometimes when you spend time with Artie, you might not know exactly what you're doing or what's happening, but somehow in the end, it's always a pretty good time.
Yeah.
He's always full of surprises and things up his sleeve, so that's what keeps life exciting, I guess.
As long as I've known Artie, he's always sort of been a big idea guy. Like, if we're going to do something, do it, and let's not, let's go full bore on something. So it sounds like that's how it's been.
Would you like it? I could give you 10 examples, but here's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
He said, we really should put a second floor in our house because we lived in a small ranch. So we thought about moving, but thought, what, let's just take off the roof and put a second floor. And I was like, okay, so when are we going to do this? And he, got a little bit of a plan going. And I think I came home from work one day with a dumpster in my driveway, and Artie up there with a bunch of friends with power tools just ripping off the top. And I was like, today's the day.
We had a window.
Yeah. He's like, the weather looked really nice for like 10 days, so we're doing it. I was like, okay.
I'm thinking, along the terms of like, a pig roast, or planning like one of the anniversary parties, or just the fact that when you opened up the Mechanicsburg facility over there. I mean, it was an old car dealership, and you turned it into a soda factory and a world-class restaurant. I mean, these are big ideas, and obviously, the bigger they are, you're going to have a big reward, or you're setting yourself up for big surprises and possibly big failures. So I imagine there's been a little bit of that along the way, and I'm imagining that Carrie has probably had a couple of sleepless nights along your side, but you guys have made a good pair for what is it, 26 years?
Yeah, 26 years this September.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah. Like I said, it's always an adventure, but it's all good. We managed to work together.
One other thing we missed out on this over this COVID time is we were supposed to be in Barcelona, and then we were going to go to the running of the Bulls.
Up in Pamplona.
And we had our tickets, we had everything ready to go, and everything got canceled. But we did get an email. Was it yesterday?
Yeah, get ready to plan for next year.
2021. So I think they lost their whole season there in Pamplona, and I'm guessing that's the one of their big money makers in that town.
No matter what, I think that Artie always has a plan in the back of his head. Even if he doesn't say what it is, it's always a good one.
Well, you guys have found a little extra time on your hands then at home this summer. So, hey, I'm figuring you'll either just spend it with each other, or you're going to come home someday and the third story will be being added to the house there. So.
Well, I'm referring to that now as Artie's COVID projects. It's always probably better if he's got one going.
I'm getting tired.
I hear you. All right, well, this is time for a little break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about some stuff that's going on. If you're headed into the brew pub, some things to look forward to, and I'll talk about my most recent experience and one of the new menu items that I tried, and I'll give you my quick review when we come back on the Appalachian Brewing Company podcast. All right, and we're back on the Appalachian Brewing Company podcast, and we're here with Artie and Carrie DeFoya today. It's been a lot of fun getting to know you guys, getting to know your story. Everybody knows you guys are around the brew pub more than probably anybody, but not many people have probably delved into your history, how'd you meet, all that stuff beyond just a quick little thing. So it's always cool to know how people that actually got to meet, because it's what I find interesting is like I can almost never picture just Artie. I'd picture Artie and Carrie, and obviously Carrie, I met you through Artie. So knowing that you actually had lives and everything before each other, was even though 27 years ago.
Yeah. Well, our kids have been raised in that restaurant setting as well. There was a time when, with Elizabeth especially, if we wanted to see Dad, we had to go down to the restaurant to see Dad and say hi to him. So she especially grew up in that brewing/restaurant world and had a lot of knowledge of that. So when she turned 21 2 years ago, it was only fitting that she had a beer named after her, and she liked that. That was really fun. They made a saison that year, and that was the Little T.
Oh, yeah.
That is named after Elizabeth Tafoya. So she likes that. So not many kids can say they had a beer named after them for their 21st birthday, but she definitely spent a lot of time in that brewery growing up.
Yeah, she earned it.
As do a lot of brewers' kids.
Cool. All right. Well, so I was just at the brewery, like I said, about a week and a half ago. Things reopened. We went in as a family, had a great time, sat down, opened up the menu, looking for one of the old favorites, and there were a couple of new items on there. And so I decided, I'm going to try something different here. And it was the name that caught me. All right. But so I was set on a burger. So I went right to the burger section, and that's when the name caught me. So here it was. It was the Elvis.
The Elvis burger.
The Elvis burger. So the description of that, Artie, Elvis, obviously, for everybody who knows, I mean, he had more than just a love of blue suede shoes and those wacky suits that he used to wear in his older years, the rhinestones and everything. He had his appetite was for the famous sandwich, the peanut butter, banana, and bacon sandwich. Is that what it was, or was
That's right.
Okay, all right. So we know a little bit about the inspiration. Let's talk about I want you to describe the Elvis, where you guys came up with it, and then I'll definitely tell you how I felt about it.
Yeah, well, I do a lot of traveling. At least I try to, because I sometimes feel like some of the next new ideas are ideas that have already occurred somewhere else. So I travel a lot to try to find new ideas that are happening. The Elvis burger's been around a long time, but it's sort of making a renaissance now. I always try to find those items that are sort of coming around so that people see them on the menu. They go, hey, I heard about that. I'm going to try it, right? We always also try to put a little bit of a spin on that, too. We always try to make everything a little bit ABC. So we put a little bit of spice in the peanut butter mix, and just to give it a little more flavor. Of course, the bananas on there. We tried grilling them originally, and it didn't really work out that great, I don't think. So we ended up going with just fresh bananas on there, plenty of them on top. And you just bite into that sandwich and with the little spicy peanut butter and some bananas and the burger, and it just, some people go, oh, that sounds horrible. It's amazing, as you probably experienced.
Yeah, I actually, like you said, like it's that first bite is because, I guess because I'm raising little kids right now, that peanut butter. First of all, my favorite dessert is like a chocolate cake with peanut butter icing. Right, so I mean, and who doesn't love
my favorite too?
Right, I mean, we live near Hershey, and it's been one of those Father's Day presents for years. Is a big pack of the Reese's peanut butter cups. So I love the peanut butter, and chocolate is a good combination for me. But you know what? I am also a fan of the sweet and savory. So the bacon does it for me, and then I do like banana. So I'm thinking. Now I'm just putting all these things together, and I'm thinking Elvis might have been onto something here because it was delicious. And you get the peanut butter, a little spicy, and you think to yourself, well, peanut butter kind of gets stuck to the roof of your mouth. But the difference is you've got this perfectly cooked my go medium well, with the burger, and then it's just like a juicy explosion, and the peanut butter and the burger, it just and the warmth, it makes for a delicious bite. So I think it's a great addition to the menu, because it is one of those items that I think some people are going to really, really love it, and other people are just going to want to really try it at least one time. And I can say that if they know going in that all the flavors are there that you just described, it definitely lives up to the name, and it's basically as epic as Elvis. So thank you for adding it. It was quite delicious, and I think we washed that down that night with a Mad Cameron Belgian wit beer.
The menu process is something I wouldn't wish upon my worst enemy. You're working with chefs, you're working with other people. Everybody's got an idea of what should go on the menu. We only have a certain amount of room to put it on. We don't want to add 5 or 6 items to the menu, because then it becomes a little more cumbersome. So the whole process, and then all of a sudden you'll say, I have to charge $26 for that. That's not going to work for a salad, right? So there's certain times where we'll have the greatest idea, and it just won't work because you can't meet your cost analysis on it. One of the other items that I've been actually working on for 2 years, I think, is to put bowls on the menu. We finally got them on the menu now. We call them the Power Bowls, but we have a Casado bowl and also a Thai peanut bowl. And they're flying out of the kitchens right now. And I got to tell you, Mike, it's my new favorite item. You get your veggies, get your chicken, and all that good yumminess inside.
Tons of flavor.
It works for me.
Yeah, it's great.
We've talked about it before, our favorite menu items, and I always go back, if I could pick from a couple of different categories, like I always like the flatbread, I always love the stromboli, my wife loves the hog wild, and I always love the nutty fruity salad. And as a family, we always get the elephant ear as a dessert. But so
that's good.
Carrie, what are your go-tos?
Yeah, and I agree with the nutty fruity. That's a great one. But I tell you, a lot of times Artie will call and say, hey, do you want me to bring home dinner? And I'll almost tell him that I like the grilled Caesar salad with the chicken. That's one of my favorites, especially with blackened chicken on it. That's a great one. They do have a nice summer salad right now that's spinach and berries and feta with a hoppy poppy dressing. It is really good. Nice, light, refreshing. And you go back to their burgers. My favorite a lot of times is to have a turkey burger. The yurt and a turkey burger is fabulous.
Yes.
A little bit of barbecue and the onion rings. It's very good. So there's lots of options, but those are probably my go-tos there.
Nice. Artie, anything that you're gravitating towards lately besides the bowl?
Yeah, when it comes to a burger, Mike, I'm a fire jumper guy. I like that real spicy jalapeno burger that we have. It just works for me. I've been eating the bowls lately because they're a little healthier. You got all sorts of good veggies in there, and trying to keep my weight down, Mike. I think I gained the COVID-10, maybe not the COVID-19, but
he's working on his summer bod now.
That's good.
That's
all right.
right.
I heard it was the quarantine 15, but absolutely. You like we both have these dad bods to protect. You know what I mean, Artie? So.
Yeah.
You never know when the paparazzi could show up, and next thing you know, you're in the Berg.
Oh yeah.
There he is, walking on City Island Beach. You know what I mean?
That's right. I must be flying under the radar, Mike. No paparazzi around me.
All right, good. Well, hey, I just want to talk before we wrap things up. Let's talk about the beer garden down at Appalachian Brewing Company in Gettysburg. Tell me, that's a really unique setting, and I'm looking forward. I think maybe we'll make plans to do our next podcast from that location.
Well, I'll tell you, Mike, we have the outdoor beer garden and what we call the Schwemmer. I don't know if you know what that is.
What was that again?
In German, it's the Schwemmer. The Schwemmer.
The Schwemmer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And,
that's his best German accent.
Yeah, that's all I got right there. But, one time we were in Germany and we found this, that the pubs would have this outdoor area where you could order a beer at any time, before the pub opened and after it. It was a beer window, and every time we asked the guy, well, what is this beer window? They'd say it was Disfemmer. So we just named ours Disfemmer for that reason. So you can sit out in the beer garden, you can walk up to the beer window, order your drink, order your food, whatever you want, and you can get it delivered out to your table in the beer garden. It's really cool.
Yeah, and it's nice and shaded there. It's a beautiful, it's a great
Huge
location.
trees. It's really cool. Yeah, we're definitely working at it and trying to keep it fresh and exciting at all times.
All right, so I've been impressed for many years how much information that I get out of the monthly Brews Letter. And so if you want to keep up with everything Appalachian, you can do so, of course, by checking out our podcast here from time to time. But the Brews Letter is really the way to find out what's going on. And right now, where things are sort of changing, by the week and by the month. Artie, how do people sign up for the Brews Letter? It's your take on a company newsletter to let people know what's going on with all things ABC.
Yeah, the best way, Mike, is to go to the website and click the link that says sign up for the Brews Letter. You'll put in your email address, and you can also, say if you don't want to receive too many emails or controls in there that you can use so that you're not getting inundated with emails. Not that we do that to our customers anyway, but, we do want to make sure we have a lot going on, and we want to make sure everybody knows about it. So we're trying to get as much information out as we can, because the biggest complaint we have from time to time is, hey, I didn't know that was happening. It sounded like a great time where my friend went and they enjoyed it. I didn't know about it. So it's important to also get that information out as the best as we can.
Well, what I like about it is that one comes monthly to the inbox, and it's kind of a nice wrap up. But if you do want to keep up with things daily, or as things happen, of course you want to go on social media, especially Facebook, and look up your local Appalachian brewing company, brew pub. Get a lot of info there, hear about daily specials, things that are going on at those individual locations. So a lot of knowledge out there to be found, and plan your next trip wherever you live, wherever your closest brew pub is. Make sure to get out and visit and support ABC. They're back open. You guys, anything else? Any final thoughts? Carrie, is there anything that you wanted to add?
Well, I think we summed it all up there, Mike. There's been a lot of things going on over the years, and, super excited and proud of all the hard work that Artie's put into the business and some of the great things that they've done. So it's been fun to see all that happen. So hopefully everybody enjoys a good beer this summer and get out and get something good to eat.
Artie, this is your chance, man. This is your chance to score some points. You know what I mean?
We're gonna make her our new company spokesperson. That's what we're gonna do. That sounded pretty good. So, no, I concur with her. We're working hard. We're going to continue to do so. We're going to try to provide the best place for people to go that they're safe and comfortable with, and we're just going to continue to earn your business. That's what we're going to do.
Well, there are some uncertainties in life right now, but one thing is certain is that Artie is going to continue to leave clothes on the floor for you, Carrie. So
no kidding about that.
All right. Well, we laid it all out on the floor here today. It's been fun getting to know you guys a little bit better as a couple, and it's always fun to talk to you guys virtually like this, but can't wait until the next time we can get together in person. And so since you guys are both there, I'll send the sentiment is shared by my wife, Tara, who just loves hanging out with you guys too. So I hope that we can all get together very soon, and I'm sure Artie will have another big idea waiting for us very soon.
Most likely.
All right.
Awesome.
Thanks, Mike.
You guys.
Thanks, Mike.
For Artie and Carrie, I'm Mike, and this has been the Appalachian Brewing Company podcast. Until next time, cheers.